sure he would tell you this. Calm down, you're still asleep.
Hello, everyone. Once again, this is Dare to Speak. And what you just heard was the recording of the Betty and Barney Hill alien abduction, or human abduction by aliens. And that was Barney Hill explaining about what he saw when the alien craft was approaching very close to the ground. And he was looking through his binoculars. Hopefully, it was clear enough for you to hear and understand. Maybe you might have to hear it again just to get a better hearing, or maybe with headphones. If you wear headphones on, whatever, you could actually hear it better. At least in my opinion. But he was saying what he was saying. He was getting real scared. It's just I don't know what it is, and then he starts to get that feeling about that he actually knows exactly what they are, but he doesn't want to believe it, and he started to get scared, and his instincts were telling him to put the binoculars away and run. Oh, because they're trying to get into my head, or some kind of telepathic thing or something. I don't know. And he was panicking. I feel sorry for the guy for what he went through, him and his wife. And the reason why I'm doing this video is for anybody who wants to be, because somebody encouraged me, requested actually, for me to do a video on aliens, UFOs, and things like that. So I'm honoring that person's request. And again, going back to Betty and Barney Hill, something happened in a for those who know who Bud Hopkins is, he's a hypnotherapist. He helps with alien abductees. He hypnotizes them in past regression and things like that. And during the 70s, I believe it was the 1970s, where he was allegedly, from what I understood, he was approached by a Men in Black. For those of you who don't know who the Men in Black are, it's one of those agents. Some are government agents that are highly trained, and there's a rumor going around saying that there's also some that are not human, which I'm not going to get into that part. But the Men in Black that came to Bud Hopkins' house told him he's being watched. That they noticed him. I guess he was getting too close to a case that he was working on, and they kind of, in a sense, told him to back off. And he told him that he has to reach into his pocket because he has I think it's a dime and a penny or some coins. So he reached into his pocket, and Bud Hopkins pulled out exactly what it was, as far as the coin. So he told Bud Hopkins to hold the penny in his hand. So as he looked at the penny holding it, it started to change color. And when it changed color, it disintegrated into his hand. And the Men in Black says, "What happened to that penny is what happened to Barney Hill's heart. That it wasn't a heart attack that he died of." And that's all he said. So leaving him to figure out exactly what happened, which is he was assassinated by the men in black. They did something to his heart. It scared him so much, and then after he left, it scared Bob Hopkins so much that he actually threw away all of his tapes and destroyed everything in the case he was working on. And he was extremely phobic for I don't know how long, but he was phobic for a while before he had enough guts to actually go back into it. It was crazy, really crazy. But for those of you, um, I'm not gonna get into whether or not I have any personal stories about UFOs with me. A part of me wants to talk about it, but another part of me doesn't want to. Except that I could say that at one time, when I was about maybe 38 years old or something, it was about 10 years ago. About 10 years ago, I had one of those sleep paralysis kind of thing, and I actually saw what I believe to be either an alien gray, but this one was a little tall, like average height, maybe 5 feet, and it was standing in a doorway across from my room, and I could see that he had like a almost like a mantis type shaped head, and he was wearing a cloak, and they could just tell he was like really glowing. His face was glowing, and then right away I felt that I was being watched even before I saw him, like he was observing me. But the weird part of it was that's when I started to instead of praying, which I usually do back then, I just decided to say my own thing and tell him to get away. My first reaction was to do the Lord's Prayer, but then I quickly said, I'm going to see if I can get rid of this thing without having to pray to God or to Jesus or anything like that. So I gave it a shot, and it did work. I stood my ground and I told it to go away. But I said it with an attitude and a lot of profanity, so I'm not going to say exactly what I said. But I actually put my foot down even though I couldn't move physically. And something else happened, which again I'm not going to get into. But if it failed, then I would recite the Lord's Prayer. I would say, the Our Father kind of thing with conviction. That's only if it failed, but it didn't. Not that I'm trying to put anybody down who's a Christian or anything like that. I'm not trying to start any kind of controversy or argument. But for those of you who actually had encountered or had an experience of seeing a UFO or an alien, being in contact one or seeing one or whatever the case may be, drop a comment. If you want me to talk more about it, if you want to share a story, that I could actually talk more about it, then I'll be willing to talk about it if you want me to do it. Just tell me your story or tell me to talk about this and that concerning aliens and UFOs, and I'll be happy to talk about it. It's not going to be a problem. It's just that I usually don't really like to talk about it that much at first, but now I guess I'm a little bit encouraged, so it's a little bit different for me now. Again, drop a comment. Tell me what you think of this video. If you want me to do more or anything else, whether it's about the government and UFOs or anything like that, anything, just let me know. So again, to all of you, take care.